Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Sportsminute. I am Ace, and of course, I'm joined by none other than my co-host, J-Mac. J-Mac, how are you doing tonight?
Not too bad. Umpired a couple games this week, but, over that, just sitting here staring off the TV for a bit and getting ready to talk some sports.
Yeah, watching the Braves play the Angels as we go live here on Sports Minute. So for any of you out there watching the game, go Braves. J-Mac, and I know that this isn't on one of our topics, but because we saw the craziness tonight in this game and we were kind of talking a little bit about it before we went live here, you look at the incident between Ronaldo Lopez and Soler, and you can see that both Soler and Ronaldo Lopez both got ejected because of what had occurred. Now, Soler, if you look at it, Soler took it as a personal thing because he thought that Lopez threw the ball high intentionally at his head. Now, in my opinion, I'll tell you, that did not look like that was an intentional throw high in the head area. When you were watching the game, what do you think? Did you think that pitch was intentionally thrown high?
No, I don't think so. Not in the situation that it was in. I mean, he was the tying run. I don't think in that situation it was intentional.
There was something. I'm pretty sure there was something that was said. They never actually officially came out and said exactly what happened. But there was something that had to be said that Lopez had to look at Soler and say something to make Soler start walking out towards the pitcher's mound. You could see him kind of staring down, but you couldn't see if anything was actually said.
100%.
So I don't know. It was just benches cleared. Lopez gets kicked out. Soler gets kicked out. And as we talked beforehand, had Lopez not hit Soler with the ball, he still would have been in the game.
I agree.
But he threw that punch right at the ear hole of Soler, and that was why he actually had gotten ejected. So we just kind of briefly wanted to kind of cover that before it started because we were talking about it. It was kind of a fun topic. But let's kind of go into a little bit of breaking news because right off the bat, breaking news as of yesterday, but kind of jumping right off the bat with the WNBA free agency. What did we see actually happen? We actually saw Angel Reese. She gets traded to the Atlanta Dream for 2 first-round picks. She got traded away from the Chicago Sky. So, J-Mac, now that Angel Reese goes to the Atlanta Dream, well, we already know that last year Atlanta already had 30 wins without her. So that made them a top 3 team in the WNBA. Now, with her, where do you think that this puts Atlanta at?
I mean, right near the top. I think they're top 3 again. Top 3. I can't say they're number 1. There's always, because you can always come out and say, oh, someone's consensus number 1. There's going to be no one better than them, and then someone's going to be better than them. So, but it puts them in the top 3, top 2, top 3. It's a big move for them for sure.
Yeah, with Angel Reese and Ryan Howard and Alicia Gray, yeah, that's going to be a dominant. That is going to be a dominant core. I don't know if they're going to be. I don't quite know if they're going to be as good as the Minnesota Lynx. I don't know if they're going to be as good as, of course, the Las Vegas Aces, because the Aces, we feel, is like they're always up there. They're typically one of the top 2-3 teams typically. Now, when you look at this, I think there was some people that actually were a little bit surprised that Chicago actually traded Angel Reese away. But if you look at last year, Chicago was only a 10-win team. So they did not have a very good season at all. So you look at what they got in return, and they got 2 first-round picks. So in my opinion, if you truly think about it, this kind of helped both teams in a way, because this helps Atlanta get a great rebounder, a great shooter. Now, you look at Chicago with their additional 2 first-round picks. That's going to help them build. So, J-Mac, do you kind of agree that in a way this was a good deal for both sides?
Yeah, I think both sides benefit from it. The last time we saw something like this was when the Dallas Wings picked up 2 extra first-round picks, and they traded away a couple of players, but they were just a couple of developmental players, nobody with a big name. But they traded away those 2 and got 2 picks for them, and had 3 picks in the first round. And then the next year, they went from being a 12-win team to being I think they won about 23 or 24 games the next year. So they doubled their wins by getting those extra 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, sometimes people don't realize like how much first-round picks can actually indeed help you. I mean, obviously, you don't have a player. You don't have another like Caitlin Clark that is coming along. I get that, but still, having 2 first-round picks for Chicago is going to be huge. There's no way that these 2 first-round picks don't help. Like I don't see how you can go backwards. They only had 10 wins last year as it was anyways. So they're going to only get better.
Well, I think overall in basketball first-round picks mean more than in any other sport, because basketball, you only have 5 players that play on the court at one time. So one player can make a difference for you. So to get 2 first-round picks is very helpful. Football, baseball, hockey, they all have more players on the teams that play at the same time. So basketball is definitely the one that benefits the most from first-round picks.
I definitely 100% agree with you on that. So as we saw, the WNBA started free agency with a banger right off the bat. I can't wait to see more. I can't wait to see how it finishes. But we're definitely going to stick with on the subject of basketball. And this time we're going to go into NCAA March Madness on the men's and women's side. I know J-Mac a little disappointed on both sides with how it finished, because we know that UConn on the women's side, they got beat by South Carolina Gamecocks, which, I mean, I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen. And then I know last week,
I was hands down, like, as big a UConn fan as I am, South Carolina on the women's side was the best team in college basketball, and it wasn't close.
Yeah, except as we saw, they ended up losing in the Natty, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But then you look at the men's side, and I know you said this last week. You said that you would have rather preferred to play Arizona, because you knew that you said if UConn had to play Michigan, you did not have a good feeling about that game.
No, Michigan was so well-rounded as a team. the funny thing is, though, is like held them under 80 points, held them under 40% shooting. They didn't hit any threes. They did shoot the ball good from the line. It's just a really good game from beginning to end. It never really got away from either team. I think there was a couple of times, Michigan was up 10 points, but still,
Yeah.
I mean, you were within 2 possessions. Basically, it was a 2-possession game from wire to wire, so it was never out of hand. It was just a good game.
Because I do believe, if I remember right, Michigan had like 11-point lead at one time. And
I think at one time, like I said, I think one time they did, but most of the game was a 2-possession wire to wire game, which you can't ask for anything better.
Yeah. So as we saw, Michigan, they knocked off UConn 69-63 to win the national championship. This is actually Michigan's second basketball national championship. Their first one was actually when they actually defeated Seton Hall in 1989. So it was their first one since 1989 that they won. If you look inside the numbers, Elliott was the top scorer for Michigan, which he had 19 points. And then Yaxel Ledenborg had 13 points. And then Morez Johnson Jr. was the only one for Michigan to reach double digits in rebounds. So there was only one person on the Michigan side that actually had, one double digit rebounds, and that was a total of I think he had 14 in the game. But other than that,
yeah,
there wasn't anybody else that reached that. But you look on the UConn side now, and Alex Carbon went off for 17 points, and then he was followed by Terez Reed Jr., who scored 13, but also collected 14 rebounds at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, again, it was a good game. We got them to not shoot very good. Bunch of turnovers, back and forth, both sides. I can't say enough about Caravan and what he did for UConn. How can you talk about a career where a guy had, in 4 years, he went to 3 Final Fours, won 2 national championships, and lost a 3rd national championship? As far as UConn goes, I mean, he might be the most decorated UConn player of all time. I'm not saying he's the best UConn player of all time, but the most decorated as far as 3 Final Fours and getting to 3 national championships. That might be the most decorated resume in UConn history.
And the one thing I'm happy about, though, anytime you watch a national championship, you always hope that it's not a blowout. And that's what I truly respected about this, is that this game, Michigan didn't come out and blow out UConn, and UConn didn't come and blow out Michigan. It was a very, very good game throughout. And so that is what makes for great TV right there.
100%. Yeah.
Now, does that surprise you that this is actually Michigan's second national championship in basketball history? Their first is 89.
Yeah, I mean, they had the Fab Five, right? So I'm not surprised that they won a championship, because they were a great team back then. But I'm surprised it took them so long to get back.
Right,
for sure.
Now, talking about when we started, we also Ozzy.
Yep.
There you go, Ozzy. Good job. Sorry, we're watching the Braves game still, and Ozzy Albies just went yard. So if anybody wants a score update, it's now 5-2 in favor of the Atlanta Braves. It's in the top of the 8th. Now we look on the women's side of the national championship, and the UCLA Bruins. And I mean, when we talk about a natty, they dominated the Gamecocks. They beat them 79-51. Like that to me, I was not expecting South Carolina to get blown out by UCLA. I understand that UCLA only had one loss on the year. I completely understand that. But South Carolina, they were averaging, if you looked at all the games that they played and all the points that they scored, they were scoring close to almost 90 points a game. Like they were putting up points. But UCLA, like they came out and just shut down the Gamecocks.
Yeah. It was pretty surprising for sure. And yeah, UCLA was a great team. I don't take anything away from them, but I thought South Carolina was it was gonna be the opposite. I thought South Carolina was gonna come in and blow out UCLA. But that's not the way it happened. Happened reverse of that. But hats off to the UCLA women. They went out, played a great game, won the national championship, and kudos to them.
Now there was only two players on the Gamecocks that scored double-digit points, and that was Tessa Johnson with 14, and that was McKeer with 11. Those were the only two that scored double-digit points. Now, if you look at the UCLA Bruins, the wild stat for the Bruins on that side is that all 5 of their starters had double-digit points. So that shows you like how good this team is. Like the Bruins were good. They were stacked up and down. Every single starting 5 player had double-digit points in that game. Now, speaking of how many natties that they actually had, here's a stat. So when you throw out this stat and you talk about, how many women's basketball natties does UCLA actually have? So this was their first one in the NCAA. If you look back to 1978, when it was under the Association of the Intercollegiate Athletics for Women, they actually had one then. So I guess if you want to classify that as a natty, you can, but that was more of a championship then. They didn't call it a national championship. I think it was just like a straight like basketball championship or something. But so right now, if you look at the record books, they actually consider this one as like their official first national championship. So congratulations on the UCLA Bruins on the women's side for their first national championship.
Yeah, hats off to them. Great game.
Now, going into our next part of it, we actually had an update on, and I don't know if you were able to actually see this or not, J-Mac, but we actually have an update for the first time this year on our first official week of our Wheel of Doom. So for everybody who is wondering what the Wheel of Doom is or how it works is, each one of us here, we had a team from each division. It was random. So we didn't get to pick our own teams. Everybody who watched it live, we had to spin a wheel, and whatever team it landed on is the team that we got stuck with. So after our week 1 results, which typically for us, we go about, it'll be about Sunday. It'll be Sunday to the following. Well, no, it'd be Monday through the next Sunday because that's when the series of games ends. So we go week 1. We had Bree at 23 points. She's currently leading. I've got 19 points. Josh actually had 17, and then J-Mac and Kyle are tied with 16 points. So you're still hanging out there. But if you think about like the Wheel of Doom, when we did this at the very beginning, and you look at the teams that people had, like I think the first week or so of the season has kind of been surprising in a way. Some of the teams that are currently like leading the division are doing good, are towards the middle. We had a lot of these teams last, like towards the bottom. There's obviously still plenty of time to turn things around, but there has been some current teams that I'm like, wow, how are they doing this right now?
Well, not only for me on leading, but also for being at the bottom, right? So I don't think, I guess the way I look at it is you can't win a division in April for sure.
Yeah.
But I think you can definitely get behind one, one. Because if you're, I take the Reds a couple years ago, right? I think it was 2022 where they were 3-21 in the month of April. You're 18 games under 500 after the first month of the year. You're not really going anywhere for the season. And I know it's only the first month and there's 138 games left, but that would mean to get over that, you have to go like 20 games over 500 the rest of the year to even have a chance at making the playoffs. You're not going to do that.
Yeah,
you're just not going to do it.
Yeah, so I think if you looked at the so we start with the AL East, and then after the first week, you kind of look at the teams after the first week. Yeah, I think we both had the Yankees. The Yankees were going to be towards the top. We had them towards the top. I think in that division right now, the biggest shocker is that the Blue Jays have been struggling a little bit. So there's actually sitting in fourth in the East. So, when the Blue Jays, I believe it was, I have to see who actually got the Blue Jays, but I know when that originally happened. Let's see who had the Blue Jays. I'm actually going to look that up right now and actually figure out who had the Blue Jays here. Oh, J-Mac, you had the Blue Jays, and that is actually where you had them as like, if I believe when you did your power rankings, you had them 1 or 2. I don't remember where you had them, but right now, yeah. So right now they're actually sitting fourth in the East, but it's early yet. So right now, after the first week in the East, that's probably the biggest surprise. In the Central, who would have had after the first week? Who would have had the Tigers in last place? The Tigers are sitting in last place after week 1.
No, I didn't have them there for sure.
The West, the A's are sitting in last.
Yeah, I don't. I think the problem with the A's is like they had a lot of great players last year. I had them somewhere in the middle of the pack in the power rankings, but the problem with the A's for me this year is, you had Nick Kurtz and Wilson at short as great players, but I think what happened was the pitching caught up with them as it usually does, right? And so pitchers started figuring out, hey, these guys swing away at a slider that goes off the plate with 2 strikes. And once pitchers figure that out, it's over for you. That you're never going to see another fastball in the zone. You're never going to see another slider in the zone. At one point, I'm not sure. I didn't look up the stats today, but at one point, Nick Kurtz had 26 at bats and struck out 16 times.
Yeah, that's not a good start to the season at all.
It's not, because it's like Cal Raleigh and the way he started the season. I think he's right around that number too. He's got 30 at bats, I think, and he's struck out 18 or 19 times. Like, it's not good. That's not a good start to the year.
No, but the good thing is, it's kind of like you said though. You can't win a division in April. You just can't do it.
Right.
But sometimes you can get too far behind. I feel like sometimes you can get too far behind, because if you look at last year, you put into perspective of like the Braves last year, to where they started 0-8, and that was too far of a hole to climb out of. When you start 0-8 to start a season, that's a hard hole to dig out of.
Well, yeah, I think you have to be somewhere around 500 at the All-Star break to have a shot at making a run for the playoffs, right? So your first 10 games, if you're 2-8, like Boston is right now, you're in trouble, because the team at the top of your division is the Yankees, and they're 8-2. You're already 6 games out of first place, 10 games into the season.
Yeah,
I mean,
and Boston is another one of those teams too that you could say is kind of surprising that they're in last place. That they started out playing as bad as they have. That's been surprising too.
Right.
Yeah,
I just think two teams more than any teams that are in trouble right now. And I don't want to hit the panic button or say it's a 5-alarm fire or anything for them, but two teams that are in trouble just because of their situations are the Cubs and the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays, they've lost too much. They've already lost 2 pitchers probably for the season. The Cubs are down. I know Cade Horton just got announced today that he's done for the year.
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
And unfortunate for them. I mean, it's early, but when you're not. So if you're a team like the Dodgers that have, 7 guys that can start for you, and you lose a pitcher, it's not a big deal. But when you were the Cubs and you're really coming in with 4 solid pitchers and a 5th guy that can start every 5th day, and now you just lost basically your number 2, and Justin Steele hasn't even come back yet.
Yeah,
I just think it's not looking good for the rest of the year for you.
well, the good thing for the Cubs right now is that even though they're sitting in last place in the Central, they're only 3 games out, so they're not too far out. But when you start losing your rotational pieces, that's where it really comes back to hurt you a lot. And then, but if you want to talk about a team too that's kind of getting off to a start that it's like yikes, is the Giants. We had talked about that like last week, to where I think they had scored like one run during their whole first series of the season.
Yeah.
They scored like 1 run, and right now they're sitting at 3-8, and they're 6 games out in the West already, and it's like, man, like, you already have a bad start, like a terrible start.
Yeah, and they haven't really scored runs.
No. If you look at their actual schedule of what they've done so far, they lost 7-0, they lost 3-0, they lost 3-1. They lost, then they won. They beat the Padres 3-2, and then they actually scored some runs, and they beat the Padres 9-3. But then they lost to the Padres 7-1. Then they won 7-2. But then they lost 10-3. They lost 9-0. They lost 5-2. They lost 6-4.
So, and you said they've played 11 games?
And they have played, and they have played 11 games so far, because they're sitting at 3-8.
So 11 games, they've scored 28 runs in 11 games.
Yeah, that's not too That's not too good. Now, we didn't have the Giants being like a top 10 team, but we thought that the Giants could be like a borderline like wild card team. But didn't think they were going to be playing this bad. Now, of course, it's early, so you still have time left. But when you're playing like this, man,
I mean, just to put that in perspective, by the way, so they've scored 28 runs in 11 games. The Brewers scored 29 in their first 3.
Okay, well, let's see. So, actually, correction, because it looks like the Giants have scored 30. I just looked at the stats. They've scored 30.
All right. I was a little off of my math, but 30.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They've scored 30. Now, here's a very interesting stat for you that I want to throw out there. Over the first week of the season so far, what team do you think in baseball has allowed the most runs?
Hard to say. I think actually it's the Blue Jays.
So it's not the Blue Jays. So the team that has actually allowed the most runs in MLB in the first week of the season is actually the Nationals. And how many runs do you think they have given up?
I don't know. I couldn't put a number on it because I guess looking back, I've seen a lot of their games are 9-8 and 11-7 and 12-10. Let's say 50.
So we're talking about numbers. They're sitting at 4-7 in 11 games. They have given up right now. Their runs allowed. They have given up 72 runs.
Again, like you can't win a division in April, but numbers like that will make you lose one for sure.
72 runs that you've allowed in 11 games. That is insane.
I mean that's 6.8 runs a game. So that means your team ERA is almost 7.
Yeah, that's crazy. But now you look at the runs scored because you had mentioned, which is true, that you're seeing like 9-8 games and 8-7 games. They've scored 70 runs on the season, so they're scoring runs. They're just allowing a lot of runs every game, so they're putting them up. They just can't stop anybody, and that's which. They are right now. They're sitting as the. Let's see. They're sitting as the third highest scoring team in all of baseball. Number one, surprisingly, is not the Dodgers. They're not. The Dodgers are not sitting at number one. The team that's sitting at number one that has actually scored the most runs in baseball after 11 games is actually the Houston Astros. The Astros have scored 78 runs.
Yeah, they've scored a lot.
And they're sitting in third. They're only a half game out. So the teams that have actually put up 70 plus runs, the Astros have put up 78, the Nationals have put up 70, the Brewers have scored 70, and the Dodgers have scored 72. So those are your teams that are actually currently right now sitting in the 70 plus club.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the team that has actually allowed the least amount of runs in baseball, there's two teams that are really, really close to each other. One's in the American League, one's in the National League.
So American League team. I want to say the Guardians.
It is not the Guardians. This team actually resides in the AL East.
The Yankees is the only team that comes to mind.
Yeah, it's the Yankees. They've only allowed 25 runs.
Yeah, they've had some good pitching for sure.
And then on the National League side, there's one team that has allowed under 30 runs so far on the National League.
Man, that's tough. To Milwaukee?
No. They actually reside in the East.
I don't know.
It's the Braves.
Okay. I mean, I was thinking that, but I know they had a couple of games where they gave up 5 and 6 runs. So
yeah, but so far they've only allowed 28 runs on the season.
Yeah, and it's funny. I mean, it's funny that their pitching has done what it has, because that was everyone's worry going into the season. But their pitching hasn't let them down.
And the bullpen's been really good.
Yes, it has.
The bullpen has been really, really good. And that's amazing. Like, I think they've only allowed like a couple runs so far on the season as a bullpen. It's been incredible. I think the last game I saw, they had like an ERA in the bullpen of like a 0.95. It's been like a 0.95 in the bullpen.
Yeah, I believe they've given up 2 runs. I know one of them was on one pitch the other night against Arizona.
Oh yeah. It was. And that was the walk-off. That one was the walk-off there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's where we're currently sitting at within the Wheel of Doom. Obviously, we have a long ways to go, but currently Bree is leading the pack with 23 points. All right. So going away from that, the next one, the next topic we have is officials timeout. Now, J-Mac, I don't know. You might have seen this yesterday if you were watching the game, and that's why I wanted to bring this up, because this was kind of an interesting one. Were you watching the game when the pitcher dropped the ball before he was ready to pitch?
I didn't watch the game, but
Yeah.
It's a bulk.
So what happened was he went to pitch, and as soon as he went in for his windup, he dropped the ball. And interesting enough, the announcers were like, that should be a balk, and Acuna was like, hey, that's a balk. Well, the umpire goes, the count's 3-0. So everyone was like, huh? Like what the heck is going on? So essentially he called it a ball.
Yeah. That's interesting.
He called it a ball because he said since the ball slipped out of his hand and went behind him, that's why he called it a ball. Yeah, I know.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that to me. I was watching that and I'm like, no, That's interesting. But that's how we called it. So everybody was kind of confused about that too. Like, what just happened? Like he dropped it, it went behind him. Yet that's a ball. Like that's I don't know. It was one of those. So to put it like,
the only time that's a ball is if there's no one on base and it's just the batter, would be the only situation in which you'd call that a ball, because you can't give the batter first base on a balk when he's at the plate. So, especially if it's like the first or second pitch of the at bat, but that's the only situation. I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
right.
If there's guys on base, it's a balk, and they all get a base.
Yeah, I don't know. I tell you, a lot of those though, that's where you have to get help from, right? That's why you have a crew though, just in case things like that happen. You can get together and you can talk about those things. Because how you might see it, I might see it a little differently, and then I might say, well, it's a ball because of this or this or this.
Well, most of the time, even in a two-man crew, like your field umpire should be watching for balks on most pitches. He's got the better view because he's in the field. Home plate umpire, I can call it too, but I don't understand. Like if I was at the plate and I wasn't sure, I would defer to my field umpire and ask him, "Hey, what do you think on this?"
Well, yeah, but that's why you have a crew, so you can get together and talk about things like that. It was a bigger play in the game. I mean, it kind of was, because they were losing by like 1 at that point, so it was kind of a bigger play. But you know what? To each his own. People call things the way that they see it, and sometimes maybe not understanding the full rule of the game, maybe. But in that case, as officials and everything, everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah,
everybody makes mistakes.
Sure, but and that one, I mean, that one I guess is a judgment call, but you gotta, if you don't know a rule, you just gotta say, "Hey, I'm not sure on that. Let me check with my guy here."
Aaron Bummer, what a way to battle back. Oh,
yeah.
On the game. Yeah. What a way to battle back for Aaron Bummer. That was a heck of a battle back. For anybody who's not watching the game, the Angels just got 2 on with 0 out, and then Bummer was able to battle back and get three straight out. So that was huge. That was absolutely massive for him. So J-Mac, you ref the last couple nights. Did you have, or I should say, you umpired the last couple nights? Did you have any interesting things that came about?
Funny you bring that up, because I did. You know what? I never thought in my umpiring career, I never thought I was going to have to give out warnings about hitting batters before a game started.
Okay.
But had a doubleheader on Saturday. In the middle of the first game, I have a player for one team hit a single, and he goes to the first baseman, and they're, kind of talking shit back and forth while they're standing there. And the first baseman says to him, "Well, I'm pitching the next game, and I'm hitting you with the first pitch." And you're like, "Man, you're a dumbass."
That's a warning right off the bat.
It's like now before the next game even starts, I'm warning both teams. If you hit somebody, your pitcher's gone.
Yeah, that's right. That's like right off the bat. There's not even.
And he wasn't even trying to be quiet about it. Like the guy is leading off first base, and he's just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna hit you at the first pitch of the next game," and you're like, "Really, man? Really?"
Those are things that Yeah, I don't even know where people's head go when they start thinking about that. That's
I mean, yeah, I didn't even know what to say other than like, well, there's warnings before the next game because what else do I say at that point? And even his coach was like, "Man, did you get hit in the head in this game or something? Like, what the hell would you go out there and say that out loud where everybody heard you?"
right. Oh yes. Oh, that's freaking crazy. Yeah, if you're gonna say that, like you gotta say it like quietly here, like to where nobody's gonna hear what you're saying, especially if that's your plan. Especially if you have to where you have it planned to where you're gonna hit the person, which you shouldn't anyways, but if you choose to. Um all right.
Yeah, you I can tell you're even stumbling over your words on that one. You're like, I don't even know what to think about that.
Yeah, no, you don't. It's like you definitely don't know what to even that's just dumb. That's just dumb. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Um
yeah, that was definitely the weirdest one. I haven't ran in across too much other stuff. Everything else is, I mean, it's pretty normal. You get yelled at for making a ball strike, a ball or a strike called. The fans are worse than the coaches. Like the coaches, they're like whatever. You have one game where the score was 22-0 in the third inning.
mhm.
So you just start calling almost everything a strike that you can call a strike, so you can get the game over with. Because
So
man, it's 22-0.
so I kind of had I had a fun thing, and this was going to be a surprise little thing for you that I was going to do tonight. Um, and this deals with tailgate food. So, with the very very first part of it, it's kind of a little bracket. So if you're doing a tailgate, now I've got a few things here. And definitely I understand there could be some more things that could be added, and that's fine. But currently, this is what I came up with. So for round one, you're gonna have. Are you going soft pretzel? So you have the soft pretzel against the loaded nachos. So
I'm
you're adding
picking
tail.
nachos.
Which
Nachos
one?
every time for me.
You're doing the loaded nachos over the soft pretzel every time.
100%.
Okay. Number two, you have wings or chili.
Man, that's rough. I'm a wing guy. Give me my wings.
All right, you're taking the wings. All right.
Yeah.
Are you going? Are you going mozzarella sticks? Are you going cheese fries?
Give me the deep fried cheese.
Taking the deep fried cheese. Okay. Taking the mozzarella sticks. Okay. Oh, here's a good. Are you taking the cheeseburger? Are you taking the cheesesteak?
Oh. Um, let's go cheesesteak on that one.
All right, taking the cheesesteak. Okay, so that means this comes down to one of the toughest ones. I'm telling you now, this one's going to be really, really tough. Are you going with the loaded? So round 2, you have the loaded nachos, or you have the wings.
I gotta pick wings. Like, I love me some loaded nachos, but man, I don't think I could ever pick against wings. I just don't think I can.
Okay, so now you have the mozzarella sticks or the cheesesteaks.
Let's go with the Mott sticks.
Okay, so you know what the championship is, and I guess we already know what you're taking. It's the wings or mozzarella sticks.
It's gotta be wings, man. It's gotta be wings.
So you're saying the ultimate from the bracket that we did, the ultimate tailgate for you is wings.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta admit it is. I mean, I'm the guy that goes to a Chinese buffet just so I can because then it's all you can eat wings. Like at this Chinese buffet I went to, they had chicken wings. And so for me, it became how many chicken wings can I eat? Yeah.
Okay, so all throughout. So, there was some winners that we had in the comments here going off of the bracket that we just did. So when it was the tailgating part of it, we have what's called the black pot region, which I'm sure you understand what that is. It's things that go, that you would put in a pot and you would cook it. So for that, there was some weird ones. You had jambalaya.
Jambalaya. Interesting. It's interesting for a tailgate food.
Yeah. That's kind of what I thought too. I'm like, who
tailgate?
Huh?
Tailgate food is usually finger foods that you can eat with one hand while you're playing cornhole with the other one.
I know.
That's interesting.
I know. That's why I'm sitting.
Jambalaya is interesting.
That's why I'm sitting there going, who's at a tailgate and goes, I'm gonna make me some jambalaya. I'm like I've never heard anybody say, yep, I gotta have some jambalaya at this tailgate.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Or white beans and rice. I'm like,
dude, Drake Baldwin early in the season is the MVP. I mean, 14 RBIs and he's reached base in every single game. That's just crazy.
Absolutely. It's insane. But so like I was saying, there's some interesting black pot region things there that they had. But now if you talk about the barbecue and grilling region of it, they have number 1 on this whole thing, and I'm like, how is this number 1? I'm not saying it's not good, but as a tailgate, it's probably not going to be my first choice. It's good though. They have the pulled pork sandwich at number 1.
Man, you didn't put pulled pork on that list, and I'm telling you, I don't know. That would be rough to be between pulled pork and wings because, as you know, it's a staple every year when we go camping. We make big-ass crock pots of pulled pork, and oh, man. That's rough because that might be number 1. I mean, who can say no to a pulled pork sandwich?
I know they're good. I just don't know. I don't know if it would be at number 1. And the reason why is because I'll tell you what, you make me some freaking ribs or like a brat. I'm all for that too. Like, brisket was number 2. They had pork ribs at number 3. And they actually had brats at number 6. Which I'm like...
Okay.
Hot dogs, they and it doesn't surprise me, but hot dogs are all the way down at number 12.
Yeah, that's a little strange. Number 12 for hot dogs.
Well, because I think it's just one of those like generic, like, okay, you can eat hot dogs anytime. But it is a good tailgate food, but I don't know. Then on the deep fried region, I'll throw a few out there. For the deep fried region, they had some fried chicken.
Fried chicken's always good.
Buffalo chicken balls.
Sounds good. I mean,
chicken wings. They had chicken wings at number 10.
that's crazy. That's insane. Chicken wings at number 10?
Yeah. Yeah. Chicken wings at number 10. Yeah, I saw that and I'm like, really? Now, if you look at the appetizers and snacks, they had stuffed jalapenos at number 1 on the appetizers and snacks.
Yeah, those are pretty good.
They had spinach dip at number 2.
Spinach dip is pretty good.
Queso at 3.
Okay.
Some guacamole at 4.
I'm not a guacamole fan. I'm not an avocado guy at all.
And to round out the top 5, the last one was salsa.
I'm a big chips and salsa guy, so yeah, I'd be down on that.
At the very, very bottom of this list, the 2 you would probably never guess, and I'm like, well, I don't think you'd see it a lot at frickin' a tailgate anyways. At the very bottom of the list, they had wasabi almonds. And then they also had hummus.
They had what? Sorry.
Hummus.
Oh, God.
Right. Hummus. Yep. Hummus was last.
Yeah, no thanks. Not a hummus fan. I think it looks like snot.
Right.
I'm a big eat with your eyes guy. No. Can't do it.
And then what do you think was the most, before we wrap this up, what do you think was the most popular type of cheese that people chose? Without saying nacho cheese, because obviously there is nacho. So, and this was a poll that they did, and I'm like, really? Of tailgates? Okay.
Man, you saying it that way, I don't know. I would have said like deep fried cheese curds, but if you're saying it that way, then it can't be that.
So on the appetizers and snacks region of the bracket, the cheese that they had on there as one of the most popular cheeses that people chose was pimento cheese.
Gross.
Yeah, they had pimento cheese on this list.
What a tailgate. Like, listen, anyone that's watching, anyone that ever sees this, if you invite me to a tailgate and you have hummus and pimento cheese, just don't invite me. Just don't.
Can you believe how many people would turn away if you go, hey, come and tailgate, and they show up. You go, enjoy the food. They go, well, what you got? You got, oh, I got some hummus, I got some guacamole, I got some pimento cheese. It's like I'm out, man.
No, I'm out. At that point, I'm likely to go even to the rival side and be like, well, you guys got a brat and a beer or something? Man.
Right. Or like, oh, well, I have some jambalaya. Really, at a tailgate?
Yeah. You get there and they got jambalaya, pimento cheese, and hummus.
Hummus, right? That's a heck of a tailgate party right there, man.
Dude, us being from the Midwest, we'd be like, what the hell is this shit?
Right? I'm like, no, where's the brats? Where's the burgers? Where's the ribs? Where's the hot dogs? Where's the hamburgers? I want the good stuff, man. Brats,
Yeah.
brats is one that I'm like, brats for me is towards the top. I love brats.
Yeah. Brats are good.
I love brats. All right, so we are at that point now. We did hit that hour mark. So that was kind of a little fun topic that I wanted to do towards the end. So, J-Mac, did you have any final words for everybody tonight?
No, everyone have a good week. Hope it's not raining where you are. It's not raining here. It's been great weather. Get out, watch your local sports, support the kids out there. Make sure they're having fun while they're playing, and stay tuned for more.
Yep, and we will definitely see you next week for another episode of Sports Minute. And don't forget, next month we're actually going to have a very special edition of Sports Minute when we do a Sports Minute trivia night. So with that, we hope everybody has a fantastic night, and we will see you next time for another episode of Sports Minute. Have a great night.